Rick, are you ready for that one? An 80-year-old woman banned from her YMCA after 35 years because she wanted a naked man who identifies as a woman not to parade around in front of little girls and women. How did she become the bad guy?
You know, if righteous anger does not boil up in you when you hear that story, you need to go study Isaiah and Romans both. We are calling good evil and evil good. Government is not restraining evil like it should. This is absolute evil. And this precious lady is willing to stand up against it. An 80-year-old woman. Where are the men? Where are the men in that community that should be standing up and defending women and these little girls? I mean, it's unbelievable what we're allowing to happen. But that's what happens when you remove right and wrong, when you don't teach right and wrong, when you don't teach biblical values. It's incredibly frustrating, and people should be righteously angry over it.
Yeah, they should be. You're exactly right. And many of our viewers, they are right now as they're listening to this. Now, a year ago, the American military was rushing to exit Afghanistan at President Biden's orders, leaving behind billions of dollars of military equipment, countless Afghans and Americans who had served in the battles there against the Taliban. Did that decision affect things like Ukraine's invasion and China's threat to Taiwan?
Yeah, in fact, when it happened, you know, Greg, you and Tim both said this multiple times on the program. I said it, and other guests that you said, or that you had on the program said it. And that is that, look, when you make a colossal mistake like this, when you have a debacle like this as a nation, the world is watching. And so all of these trouble spots around the world were watching what was happening and saying, oh, okay, now is the time to move against America. Now is the time to move against our neighbors, knowing that America will not be able to intervene effectively. So there's no doubt that it invited a lot of these other situations.
And we just did our 18th drawdown of military supplies while all of this is going on. Now, the University of Kansas has launched a class, Rick. I know you're a studious person. And the class is called The Angry White Male. It tackles where he comes from and why he's angry, and if this is a global phenomenon or not. So, Rick, are you ready to register for that class?
You know, I think the only people more out of touch than these universities and these ridiculous classes that they're teaching, which we are funding, another reason to be righteously angry and call your state legislator and tell them to defund the left by defunding the university. But the only people more out of touch, of course, are the people at the Department of Justice right now. You know, the Merrick Garland clip that you played earlier just defies reality. Where is this threat to America that they're talking about, when in fact their own data shows that the people that they should actually be after and be dealing with are not white supremacists? It's just unbelievable how much they're willing to defy logic and defy reality. Okay, while we're on college education here, what's your perspective on students being forgiven billions in unpaid student loans with tax dollars? What a shame. You know, that means what they're actually requiring is that people that went to school and paid off their loans, that actually paid for the education that they got, are now going to pay for the students that were unwilling to pay for their education. And let's not forget that 2/3 of college degrees are not used. In other words, you go spend a couple $100,000 to get a degree that you end up not even using. And now you're asking people that are working hard, whether they're working at a restaurant or digging a ditch, or they're a lawyer or a doctor, you're asking those people to pay for your education that you're now not using. It's an absolute scam, Greg. It's a scam.
It is a scam. Okay, now our producers saw this footage on the internet. Wanted me to ask you if this was Congresswoman Liz Cheney getting in some last-minute campaigning in Wyoming. Doesn't look like Wyoming to me. She's the only rhino we know up there. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think rhinos are not going to be very popular up there, and that she certainly, you know, she's a blessing to the left because she goes on TV and says all the things that they want. But rhinos, I think they're going to become an endangered species in America, and we're talking about the RINO, Republican and name only rhinos at this point.
Yeah, that would sure change your daily dog walk if you came outside and saw that, though. I will tell you that. Rick Green, thank you. Be back to you in just a moment.